So Tina Turner died and a part of me died. I've a long time liked Tina Turner. You must understand that the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. It's physical, only logical. You just try to know that it means more than that. Oh! Okay, so I was with my clients yesterday, and I have a new one that is 64, about younger than my mom. The other one's 102. And we're talking about their different things that have gone on in their lives. One of them, she's really young, younger than my mom. I walked in there, I saw the pictures on the walls, and I saw her whole life story that she's was a social, like a blonde socially, like to go out and like have house parties, she's a business lady but also likes to go out and socialize with her friends, blonde. And she got cancer, and after that, after about 1 year of cancer, it really does things to your body. She got other health problems along with it. She married a year ago, but after just 1 year, she was on all these, like, she had like stacks of medications all in her kitchen, all in her, like, every room has medication in it, and like it's all organized, but it's like a lot of medication, including I did a lot of housekeeping there and making sure the cats are like fed and their litter boxes are emptied out because she can't do much of that, and her husband's out a lot. And I went into his office. He has like a bunch of guitars in there, and he had the Black Crowes poster on the wall, and like he likes music. I guess he's a fan of the Black Crowes, and like likes to surf, like more of a beachcomber kind of a guy. I thought it was funny because I never had a client that young. It was a little like surprising because I usually have clients who are much older, especially my client who's 102 that I usually go to as well. And I talked to her. She lived and moved to San Diego when it was all dirt, when it was all just being basically created. San Diego was not, it was underdeveloped, and it was all dirt roads, and a bunch of military people moved in, like her husband, military, Navy SEAL. And she has two granddaughters and has done a lot with her life, but mainly a housewife, but even in that time period, things had its rough ends. Like every marriage is never perfect. Every relationship goes through its times. I told her I was engaged at a time, so she's all telling me, well, all relationships have its ups and downs. Like, because her husband worked at a diner, and he was a manager there. And one of the waitresses, women have nerve. A lot of them don't care about other people's feelings. They'll do things. She kissed mouth to mouth her husband in front of her, and after that, she pressured him to fire this waitress, and he did. But after that, she punished him and didn't want to be intimate with him for a couple of months, she told me. But this is what happens even in that time when people. I saw his picture. He's a very attractive guy. Her granddaughters are really good looking, and it doesn't surprise me that someone else had their eyes on him, especially at that young age. And all marriages have this kind of a problem. Even in that time period, you can never be fooled that never anything really happened. Come on now. But she didn't divorce him. She stayed with him, and she said that don't divorce because relationships go through its ups and downs, and usually if you have a kid, it's like better just to keep things going. And it could be embarrassing and a stupid thing just to divorce over a thing like that when it could be worked out and all that. But jobs, you know how it goes in workplaces. A lot of times there's a lot of people who travel out of state. Like the other ladies that are 60, she had traveled to New York and like was paid to go to New York and travel for her job. And I would imagine if a guy or girl does that, all kinds of things happen. I had one of my old friends, her dad was a bastard son he's Japanese and white, and his dad is one of those sailor guys that just abandoned his wife, like a military kind of guy. I hate that. That goes on a lot with military. A lot of them travel out and will do that kind of a thing, but it's very common to the Navy SEAL, which is in, California has a lot of Navy SEAL families and a lot of military families divorce because of this. It's very common, but she's just telling me, like, I know you're engaged and relationships go, there's ups and downs. And I'm like, I know. I very much know that because I broke it off. He wanted to stay together, but I broke it off because he kept holding things going and kept going broke, and just stupid excuses went on, and I didn't feel like he wanted a real. I wasn't in love anymore either. If I had strong feelings, it'd be different, but I believe that everybody kind of has the know if they're like have strong feelings for somebody, and they're gonna make it work out if they have those kind of feelings. I've gone through so many things in relationships, but also including trauma and all kinds of awful things have gone on throughout the years since I was very young. So I'm used to all kinds of weird things going on. I tend to be trusting. A lot of my clients, I trust a lot. I promise sometimes I could trust people too much, but you can't always trust every single person out in the world because there's liars out there. And then you find out people are lying through other sources, and then you realize it wasn't a trusting relationship at all. And you can't always go by what people say. They could be lying to you about things, which lying is never something that you should be by habit doing, especially with professionals and all that. It's definitely not going to be tolerated if you're continuously lying. I've worked with the rich, I work with the poor. It seems like a lot of the rich tend to lie. I'm not trying to bag on rich people. It's just a lot of the rich I notice tend to lie a lot or cheat people. And you wonder about how they were and how they got there, how they made all that money, all kinds of weird things going on. I parked in a rich area, and I was parking in front on the side of the road with this guy's truck. And he was telling me, it was the middle of the morning. He's all like waking me up. I was 9 a.m. and he's like, hey, I noticed you always park at that same parking spot. You have plenty of space down that driveway, Well, you don't have to park there. I could get you towed for that. I'm like, towed? I was so like on alert that I just took my car and parked down that driveway because it was embarrassing. But this guy was barking at me. He was this younger guy, like with a baseball cap on. I'm looking at him like he just ruined my entire like day doing that. And I parked down the driveway, and then the client complained that they didn't like the sight of my car in front. They wanted it parked on the side in the bushes, hidden away. So they're like micromanaging with that. That was an old client. I'm like, who's this king of the hill think he is? Like, what, do you own this street? Is this your street? I don't have, what? I pay for my parking spot every month. And that's the thing that's a given, that you're supposed to be able to have your parking spot. But who's this? Like, what? Who are you? Like, I'm used to always having to just kind of listen and give in. Sometimes I feel like a little bit like I do that too much. Like I'm just some butt kisser here. But I was like, no way. I just listened because it was early at 9 a.m. and I was like not even awake. But I understand this is how the world works, right? King of the hill here. And I was like, I had to get new clients because there was like issues with that house, but lots actually. And I've seen it go on and off throughout the years with different clientele. It tends to be always the same pattern with the rich. Now I have a boyfriend and he's like well to do, but I didn't think that he was going to like me because of that. And including he's a male model, including he's like a singer type guy. I thought he was gonna like dust me off. I thought he was gonna look at me like, yeah, right. Like, look at her. Like, she's just some, caregiver kind of a girl. Like, just an everyday, I'm not some fantastic looking model type. He's dated all these type of girls. And I'm like, yeah, right. But we started talking and I started noticing he's humble. He's actually a really nice guy. And after a couple months, I let him in, but in the beginning, I was just gonna dust him off. I was thinking, yeah, right, like, whatever here, including he's, like, way better looking than I am, And I don't know, just as feelings go in, those are the kind of one time feelings when you first get to know somebody. But this is how I am. I'm very trusting. I tend to I like to get to know people who are different than me. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, you like me and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, see where it goes. But that's how I am. I'm like, okay, I like to get to know people who are different than me. A lot of the people I get to know very different than me. 100%.